let's say we're 18 years old, and it's now May, and I'm going into I'm a senior, and I'm going to be graduating in 2 months from high school.
Right.
Right. And I'm kind of debating: do I go to work? Do I go to college? Right. So let's talk a little bit about. There's 4 components to Brick by Brick. It's education.
Right.
It's work. It's goal setting, and it's mentorship. And now I'm in my May of my senior year, and I haven't made a decision yet on what I'm going to do. So now I've got this opportunity. Let's call it the apprenticeship program, Brick by Brick, powered by us, Paverart, right? So education, I think you and I both agree, are important. We both have degrees.
100%.
So
100%.
let's just say it's a marketing or a business administration degree. I think that information is valuable, right? I think marketing 101, accounting 101, economics, those 40 classes have value, right? And you can get that a number of different ways. You can go to Rutgers, you can go to Montclair State University, you can go to my school, Northeastern, or you can get it all for free. But we think it's got value. But we also think incurring $100,000 of debt is crazy, I believe, right? Because you'll be paying it off and the information value is zero. So there's alternatives to get that information for free. So let's just say education's the easy part. To your point, on all those skills that Brian was rattling off, the design of a compass, the manufacture of it, the packaging it, the shipping it, what you and I do, managing the customers, that's all important. You got to learn that on the job.
Right.
You're not going to learn that. You're going to learn components of it in school, but you've got to learn that on the job. So what is the work? Well, you're going to come work here for 32, 40 hours a week. You're going to get paid. You're going to learn all those skill sets while you're getting the education component here on the side.
Exactly.
Let's talk about mentorship. Give me an example of one of your mentors in your career.
Well, it's the easiest one is my dad. There was, one of the first things he ever told me was, you get ideas, don't you? I said, yeah, I get ideas every once in a while, Bob. So, do yourself a big favor. You get an idea, write it down, okay? That's number one.
But they taught you that in college?
No, they didn't teach me that in college. I learned other things in college, but that certainly wasn't one of them. The other thing was, I'll never forget it. It's one of the most important lessons that he taught me and constantly harped on. Through your life, son, you're going to be paying everybody. You're going to be paying this guy, this gal, this company, the government. You're going to be paying all these people. Don't forget to pay yourself. What did he mean by that? Save your money. Okay, have a financial plan. I was fortunate that by the time I was out of high school, I had a financial plan because he taught me how to do that. My question to you is, how many 18-year-olds do you think have an idea of how to manage their money if they even have money by the time they're 18?
I'll reckon that. Well, let's guess at this. If we ended up with $1.7 trillion of debt in this country, I'm going to say that's the minority. I'm going to say less than 5%. Well, here's a good example.
It's almost a stupid question.
Well, how do we end up with $1.7 trillion? I don't think the parents have a clue. So look, at some point, you got to be brutally honest with the problem we have in America. Right. You don't end up with a $1.7 trillion problem without parents having skin in the game to this problem. Forcing Junior, strapping debt on this kid at all costs without thinking through that.
Yeah.
We attended, 3 high school fairs locally, career day fairs.
Yep.
And you were the lead of it's amazing your ability to pull kids in and start talking to them about brick by brick.
No, I understand.
But how many kids do you think had an idea? You were asking a question about college costs.
Everyone, the first question I asked to lead into what was going to be an explanation of what Brick by Brick was, do you know how much college costs?
And their answer?
Not one of them had any idea. Now, two of them that I recall took a guess, and it was, one of them said, I think, $15,000 a year, and another one said $40,000 a year. The one with $40,000 was the closest one of the 50 or so that we talked to.
But there were guesses.
They were guesses.
Right.
They had no idea.
Right.
But anyway, that's it's very, very difficult to extract that kind of information from somebody that has no idea what college is all about. And these were 17-year-olds.
Well, look, if you're a 17-year-old, let's go back to that kid he's May of his senior year.
Right.
He can go if he wants to. If he gets into a college, let's say it's Rutgers, let's say it's Northeastern. If he wants to go finance it, the beauty of it is he can go to college. He's going to do it through debt. Maybe he gets a $5,000 Pell Grant. and now he's got to go figure out how to fund anywhere from $30,000 to $70,000.
Right.
There are not enough scholarships out there to close that gap. So he's going to do it, or she's going to do it through debt, right? What 17-year-old kid, if they don't even know what that cost of that college is, how are they going to contemplate what taking $100,000 of debt on means when they're 23 and they're graduated, and what the payments are going to be? Not many of them. Look, we don't have a national outcry to wipe out this debt because it's such a great deal. If these kids were graduating and making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year, paying their payments like that, I don't think there's a national hysteria to wipe out this debt. So you got to ask yourself, if college was such a great idea, then how do we end up with $1.7 trillion of debt and the entire country saying we got to wipe this out? It's not fair to these kids. I think it's not a great deal because of tuitions. Was it a great deal when I went to school? Absolutely. So what changed for me when I was 19 to 23, because I'll say it a million times, college was tremendous for me. The world has changed. College was not $75,000 a year
Right.
for the school that I went to back in 1992. It was a hell of a lot less than that, right? The starting salaries have not kept up with a $75,000 a year tuition. That's just fact, right? Housing. You could buy a house in 1992 for a hell of a lot different price than what you can in the year 2022.
Exactly.
So the math has changed in 20 years, 25 years. So that's where this thing's different. Look, it comes down to make a good living. The degree used to be your ticket to the golden riches. It's not anymore. When you look at it, and it's all over the Brick by Brick site, 40% of all the people with a degree are currently in a job they don't need that degree for. And the average debt is $35,000. There's a third of all the debt holders of college debt are in default, meaning they've missed 3 consecutive months or they're not making payments on it. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the raw facts of this thing, let's just say we've got a problem. We've got $1.7 trillion of debt. 40% of the kids that have jobs with degrees, they don't need the degree to begin with. And meanwhile, you got 10 million open jobs that require some type of skill, and college might not be that skill. So we've got a problem. We've got a mismatch in the workforce, the skills that they have and the degrees they hold to the current opening jobs. And what are the parents doing? What are the educators doing? You go to any high school in America, a lot of them are incented on what percentage of those graduating kids go to college. Well, okay, not a bad incentive, but shouldn't it be what percentage of them are living a life that they want to live? And college is a component of that, but there's trade schools, there's apprenticeship programs. So we are hurdling these kids into a debt-fueled college path without even an understanding what the alternatives are. So what I think, is Brick by Brick the solve to this? No. But in our little slice of the world, if you value education, goal setting, the mentorship that you talked about with your father, and employment, making money right away. Here's how I kind of think of it. 2 kids. One's a 4-year college graduate from Rutgers. Mm-hmm. And I got the 4-year Brick by Brick Apprenticeship program that went through the Paverart program. At the end of 4 years, let's compare the 2 kids. Brick by undergrad degree in business from Rutgers. Brick by Brick, he's going to have an undergraduate degree. Mm-hmm. It might be University of the People. And he spent $5,000 to get a fully accredited online degree.
Right.
This kid, let's just say he's average. I can go pull up data sources that says the average undergrad at Rutgers for a marketing degree, he's going to command $42,000 a year in average starting pay. That's what their own data says. This kid, he might be making $42,000 building up to that. This one's going to have $35,000 of debt. This one's going to have 0 debt and $25,000 in the bank. This one's going to have a resume that says Rutgers University degree, maybe an internship or 2 if he's ambitious. This one's going to have 4 years of Paverart running every aspect of the business. And if we're successful, he started over here with revenue, and our revenue's now up here. So he's part of a successful business.
Plus he has a degree.
And he's got a degree.
Right.
The question, and it's fully accredited, it's online. Now, is it Rutgers stature? Maybe not. But the question is he going to be able to compete with any kid in the land with a conventional degree that they've amassed $35,000 of debt on?